we also had some reflection from the regional point of view. But what we want to highlight now is cities and regions that are, because the social economy, mainly, there are some businesses that are on a global level, but mainly the social economy, the big part of the social economy are actually local or regional based. And cities and regions at the core of social economy, how can we see the support from the different regions? We would like to see different regional perspective of how we support the social economy. I start with a question. So shortly we have some questions and we will go through it. And how does your region support the social economy? Just briefly mention how you work with the social economy in order to support it. You have microphones on the table.
Well, good morning. My name is Ricardo. I'm the mayor of the city of Braga in Portugal, also from just like Torres, Vedras. And in my city, we have a really diverse reality in terms of social economy agents from a long time ago that play a crucial role in very diverse areas that go from inhabitation to social support to education to environmental issues, to cultural activities. And what we have been doing is, first of all, to try to foster the activities of these institutions. It's very important in our territory to value their effort, to support their activities, and the municipality of Braga has tried to create this proper environment that Juan Antonio Pedreño was mentioning at the local level, so that we can obviously foster their development. On top of that, we have been working with other institutions to strengthen the capacity building, training and education, as it was also mentioned in the previous panel. And we have some local mechanisms of financing for the social economy institutions. And on top of that, I think that the most important project that we have developed in recent years was the creation of our Human Power Hub, which is a social innovation incubator that we have created after participating in an Urbact project, because we exchanged experiences with cities from all over Europe. And one of the projects that we shared was from Malaga, precisely. Spain is always very advanced in these issues, and La Noria was the source of inspiration for our Human Power Hub. And from then on, we have been supporting not only the traditional social economy agents, but many, many entrepreneurs to develop new projects in this social innovation area that are working with their communities. And that is also because, just as a wrap-up, because we in Braga try to have a governance model in which we allow all the institutions, all the main stakeholders, and also the citizens to participate in the different areas of the management of the city. It's not only a public responsibility, it's a society responsibility, a community responsibility. And so this innovation lab is always has been very useful because they have created projects that are economic sustainable, but that address different realities and different needs from our citizens and from our community.
Hello, brother. My name is Torbjörn Ahlin. I'm the chairman of the Committee for Culture and Civil Society in Region Örebro County. Region Örebro is situated halfway between Gothenburg and Stockholm. At policy level, we have a multi-year action plan for social economy. This strategy shows that our region thinks that social economy is very important, and it's decided by the regional parliament. We have an ongoing dialogue with the organizations of the social economy in our county to discuss their conditions and current challenges. We have a budget that we use for support to the traditional NGOs that are active in our county. We also give special assignments to various organizations within the social economy for which they receive special fundings. For example, to organize seminars and other kinds of training programs. We support the regional companion organization and a rather big foundation whose role is to support people who often involuntarily doesn't have access to the labor market because of, for example, illness or disability. Another support is the social innovation funds that the social economy can apply to develop new solutions to societal challenges. Sometimes we also set aside special planning funds for the social economy so that I can have time to write projects, applications for national and European calls. One of our most important coordination forums in the county is the Partnership for Social Innovations, where we meet partners from social economy in the county. A very important network, I think. Okay.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say that as an elected member, for me there are two very important fetish questions, which are why and how. So first of all, we actually in the municipality where I'm vice mayor, we stand for social economy development because we believe that a system that relies on social economy principles is not more adept to resist to unpredictable, impactful events, is not only more resilient and resistant, but is also more capable to better manage and distribute power, to better generate and distribute well-being and quality of life, assuring the most important rights to the citizens, as the right to housing, to cultural participation and creation, to health, to education, to quality jobs, and most of all, the right to a better future. And we believe that social economy, taking into account its foundational principles and values and impact, is actually the trigger of a system that assures all those rights and that can renew a new social contracts in where citizens have duties and rights. So in my municipality, first of all, we tried to create an institutional framework in where we have a small technical team that is devoted to the enhancement of social economy, and at the political level we do a collective reflection trying to understand where is social economy present, in what sectoral policies is social economy present, what are the trade-offs between the different initiatives that we are pursuing. We have several pillars that we find important in order to develop an ecosystem that actually can develop social economy. And obviously, we try to decode and to have a reading comprehension of the main studies and reflection and recommendation documents that are being elaborated among European institutions and also within international institutions like, for instance, OECD. And we try to do like an hermeneutic exercise of those instruments and see how can they reverberate and resonate and influence our local-based policies. That's the first exercise that we pursue. We then believe that knowledge production is crucial and is foundational, and so we created a local center for social economy studies. And this local center has obviously staff from the municipality, but also gathers the engagement of academics and reference individuals in social economy sector. Among this center, we have already elaborated 2 atlas of social economy. The first one gave us a portrait of social economy in our territory in order to understand and to answer simple questions like, for instance, how many jobs does social economy entities create in our municipality, what kind of goods and services it delivers, what is the relation of social economy entities with the other institutional network, with local markets. We created several dimensions, several questions in order to have this first portrait, because obviously that policies have to be evidence-based, and we need to actualize these portraits even to understand what is the impact of our policies in this local ecosystem. We in Portugal have the social economy satellite account, and so we tried to create comparable data between the data indicators that are conceived at the social economy satellite accounts in order to allow national comparisons and also international comparisons. We believe that is very important for us as politicians to justify our political options, and so we need data. We did more recently a study in order to understand the impact of COVID in social economy entities and what are the future projects of these entities. So we try to invest in knowledge production. Obviously that knowledge production helps us to inform some options in what concerns to capacity building and give us some kind of orientation in order to better invest our resources. One of the priorities that were mentioned by social economy organizations in what concerned to capacity building was related to social impact management and assessment, and so we developed a community of practice in order to take advantage of collaborative learning and to create skills and knowledge that allow social economy entities to enhance those kind of assessments. We also found that it was important to invest in capacity building regarding social and environmental responsible procurement, and so we collectively invested resources in that. So we believe that is crucial to have a continuous investment in knowledge production. Another important dimension in this process of structuring an ecosystem and consistent policies is governance. So we did a reflection, an internal reflection, as I mentioned before, concerning the municipality in order to understand where is social economy among our ecosystem of policies, of sectoral policies, and obviously trying not to have a simplistic definition and approach of social economy. And we created a governance model that gathers the involvement and the engagement of all the social economy entities that operate in our territory. So we believe that structured dialogue is crucial, data related to social economy, and also data that allow us to create what I would call an epistemology of the territory, because if we have a deeper understanding of the challenges, the societal challenges that we face at the local level, obviously that is more easy to mobilize citizens, to mobilize social economy entities and the all collective forces in order to answer to those societal challenges. Another important pillar of our policy is actually to summon social economy entities in order to answer to the challenges that we are facing. And I give a concrete example. In Portugal nowadays, there is a decentralization process going on, and the municipality of Torres Vedras, as other municipalities in Portugal, were getting some competencies from the central government in many different areas, such as education, welfare, and health. And we analyzed how the central government used to answer and used to materialize some of those competencies. And for instance, in education, one relevant competence was the conception and distribution of school meals to kindergartens and to the different levels of school. We created an alternative to the mainstream system that relied on tenders that benefited big enterprises, that created low-quality jobs, precarious jobs, and that had a huge carbonic footprint, since the distribution chains were quite long. So we were not happy with that system, and we summon social economy organizations, we summon local producers, and we created a cluster that is anchored in a territory in where the social economy organizations who have installed capacity, they are responsible to produce the meals and to distribute the meals, and the products are procured to local producers. So that is an example of an alternative to a mainstream system that was not coherent with our values.
We need to move on. I have some more questions, you know, and short answers, and we just have very small time.
So there was more to tell, but we don't have time.
No. Well, thank you. It's really interesting. And as you understand, we have brought the stars of the regional and local authorities here, so they have a lot to tell you about their work. And you will have the floor again, but we have some more questions and just 5 minutes left. But you answered the question why. So maybe we want to hear, because how you work is capacity building, training programs. We have fundings, visualizations and stuff like that, and a lot of experience. So grab these people during the breaks and the lunch and talk about that if you are from a regional public sector and want to have tools for promoting the social economy. But you said that why you're promoting it was more adapted, more capable to resilience and for well-being, for the same issues. May you from Örebro and from Braga reflect on why do you choose to support it, and do you measuring the effect, or how do you know that you actually reach what you want with this sector? And I have another question as well, so please short.
Okay. A rather short answer, I hope. We don't measure exactly, but we follow up and look at all projects done. So we have a good picture of what is done, and we think that social economy helps. For us, social economy is a part of regional development according to our regional strategy, our regional development plan, which is the plan above all plans in the region. We think that it's important with an independent sector separated from the public sector and the private business. We think social economy is a school for democracy and is a good service provider. And it's very much a question about including perspective. It's about people who are far away from the labor market. We hope to give them a chance to be included. They may be disabled, they may have background as with the use of drugs, and maybe they are former criminals, but we want to help them to be integrated in our society. And in addition, I think social economy is also important for rural development. Okay.
Well, trying to be brief, why we do it? Because we know the impact that and the capacity to respond that all these institutions have in our territory. We see the results of the work that they are doing in these different areas. And it is true that linking this to the measurement dimension, we don't have enough information to showcase the importance of this sector to people. Actually, usually we only look at the real assessment of the impact of this sector when it is threatened. And in the previous panel, somebody was mentioning the ideological dimension. Actually, it's curious that the social economy agents are threatened by both sides, because there are some that think that they are benefited and that we should have an open market approach, and some that think that they are benefit and we should have a fully public approach for some of the areas. And in that case, for instance, in Portugal, we've seen in recent times with left-wing parties actions that were developed in the habitation area, in the social welfare area, that were limited because the national government decided to restrict those activities to the public sector. And what we see then is, replying to your question, that we don't have the means, we don't have the capacity to invest to create the solutions, and that we are threatening jobs and responses to the population that are very important, mostly for local communities. And just a final note, I was also the rapporteur of the Committee of the Regions for Social Economy, and in my opinion, I tried to put these different levels of approach from the community level and the national level, because some of the issues that are crucial have to do with things like state aid. For instance, the question about the provision of meals that Anna was mentioning. We could try to value, for instance, in Portugal, that social perspective of having local suppliers, of having local institutions involved, but the procurement framework almost forces us to choose the less costly solution, and that will be probably an enterprise and not a common enterprise and not a social economy agent. And so the procurement process is also very important, state aid, and under these global solutions, then we have the capacity at the local level to foster the development of these initiatives with a very close work with these institutions. And that is why we do it in Braga, because we see the result, we see the impact and capacity that these agents have.
Thank you. And I have time for a last question, so all the three of you can answer this. It's the first one. It's basically two. But do your region or city take into account the social economy action plan, and how do you work with that since it's published? And the social economy action plan and the transition pathway, mentioning social economy as a partner also for the digital and the green transition as an important part. And however, when we look at cities and regions where the social economy is promoted through specific policies, it's still missing in the recognition as a visible partner in policies areas such as circular economy, energy, or industry economy, or stuff like that, that are directly connected to the digital and green transition. How can this be changed?
Well, first, in terms of the social economy action plan, we obviously support it. It was also something very important, and I'll just address, for the lack of time, two specific issues. One that was already mentioned, it links with the inclusive employment. The social economy agents are much more receptive to support the inclusion in their activities, in their work of handicapped people, of ethnic minorities, and migrants, refugees that we host a lot in the city of Braga, and that are then engaged by social economy agents in several projects that are developed. And the second dimension that I already mentioned through the Human Power Hub, which is social innovation, which is also very important in the social economy action plan. And in that perspective, I think that apart from the innovation within the social economy agents, we have created really an ecosystem of social innovation with the companies that are financing those projects, with the benchmark that we are doing between different projects, with the boot camps that we developed. Just last weekend, we had a social innovation festival in Braga where we could showcase the projects from the company, the social economy agents, where we could create new projects of entrepreneurship and award a prize to the best projects that were presented. And finally, to have, let's say, a share of knowledge with the university and with the research centers that we have in the city that are focused in studying the social economy. As for the circular economy, it is curious that currently, for instance, in Braga, some of the most innovative projects that are being developed by the Social Innovation Hub are connected with the sustainability issues, and these agents are really working with the companies in order to create some circular economy. For instance, using waste from traditional companies to develop artisan materials that are then sold as a source of financing for the other activities, using other projects in order to create new businesses. And so I think that it's a matter also of spreading the word. If we obviously show the importance of these topics for all the community, also in the social economy, they will participate.
Okay, for our region, circular economy is a very important question. And I think it's a foundation stone in our development strategy. Within social economy, we have taken the first steps concerning these things. We have started a dialogue with public servants who work with energy and climate to demonstrate a connection between the social economy, for example, green transitions. And I think we have a great potential for development here. Okay, I'll stop there.
So, in what concerns the European Social Economy Action Plan, yes, we have reflected about it because we are part of REV, and I believe that networks play here a very important role because they are mediators and also catalysts of reflection and of asking how the different municipalities, regions express the goals and endeavor that is ascribed at the Social Economy Action Plan. So we try, as I mentioned before, to understand what is the scope of this framework and how can we locally contribute to it through concrete actions. I would like to remind that even the Lisbon Treaty mentions the concept of place-based development. It was the Italian economist Fabrizio Barca that created that concept, and so municipalities are assigned the responsibility of developing sustainable territorial development model, not only to answer to a specific atomized needs of the citizens. And so obviously that we are committed to that because we believe that the success of European projects starts at the local level, at the small scale. I just would like to underline that we also try to enhance a culture of social innovation and experimentation and play as investors. We are social investors in many projects that are pursued by social economy entities. For instance, recently we invested in the creation of an accelerator of social impact that aims to accelerate projects that address the determinants of mental health disorders. Just to give an example. To finish, if I'm allowed, I would like to underline also the importance of foster a culture of civic engagement. It was mentioned at the previous panel that in some territories actually invest a lot in the boost of civic engagement. I would like to remind that there was a study from OECD that mentions a link between the dynamics of civil society and community-based initiatives with the growth and prevalence of social economy entities. So that is a transversal dimension and layer that is also crucial to enhance experimentation in social and environmental fields. And just to finish, I would like to say that either in circular economy, either in many of the challenges that we are now facing, social economy entities play a pivotal role, and they are partners of the municipality in where it is needed to create customized, territorialized solutions tailor-made to specific groups and to specific territories.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all three of you. And as you understand, this is a big applause.